All right. Sorry I'm late. I'm just changing energy line centers. You have to understand space position, location, line conditions. It's very important to understand these things because the energy is so high rise. The more people they get active, use the highest center, the more it positions locations to higher levels, so space-time location. So today we're going to get more in levels of gut in connections of Airbender. Set up structure location simulation, so like a game center. It's an operation to an obstacle. I'm going to change your position location line connections. Basically, what's going to be set up, it's kind of like a simulation game, but it's an optical course. It's a replica of the moon, which is going to be a hologram structure. It's going to look like the moon. It's going to feel like the moon. It's going to see, you're going to see the platitudes and computer lines there's of the moon, but it's not the moon. It's just hologram structure. Okay. So it's all about understanding how to do clone channeling, position, location, and calculations. So that's set up in sequence, location, line connections, but it's in 4 division location tactics. So it's going to have 4 division line centers and 4 structural locations of position line system that's floating in space. Now, space line center is the simulation. So you're not in space, but you're in a simulation. It's going to feel like space. The oxygen line center to position location is going to be set up to your avatar sequence. You guys will be in your tactic views, your communication cycles, and rotation system. So this is about understanding decoy, deflecting, communication cycles, how to communicate with this, how to communicate with that, how to get rid of this, how to get rid of that. You're going to get formation locations of intelligence. Basically, they're going to plan 2 division locations. They're going to come at you. You have to learn how to use your thought patterns, use position locations. GFL and the rebellion are going to use their connections to the weathers, the airs, the fires, the earths, and the waters, how to take things out of track center line conditions. Okay. So you got a board line center, you got 4 different wall line rotation interference locations, and you have other intelligence coming at you. You have to protect what's yours. That puts you in position locations what you're doing. But as long as you understand the heartline center, you have no more problem in position locations and calculations. It's great to get into the obstacle course, especially for the new viewers. All right. Now, in modification system, I set up a new program setting. Okay. It's called communications in TikTok, right? At space-time underscore operations. It gives you platitude division of what's going on, how you get in your avatar system. Why I'm here, what's this all about? Why am I here for divine timing? What happens activation, right? So all questions are answered on that spreadsheet for you. It's on YouTube. I'll put it on every single day. You go there on TikTok, you'll see all the information that is guided. Right? You have any questions or comments, ask afterwards, especially when we're traveling through space time. Okay? So I'm setting up space and time through my creation, which is all levels of space time, how everything is created through inside of you. That's how space is created. It's inside you. Okay? Space is not created outside, it's created inside. So the more you understand that through track system, the more you understand the time positions and how it comes into all levels. Just live in the now in the 5th dimension. All right, put yourself in that connections. All right, so I'm setting up the structural location to its connections. And remember, you have any questions or comments, I'm here every single day after school. All right, I start at 10:30 and I usually finish between 20 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes, an hour. An hour and a half the most. I rather don't want to go over 2 hours, but I do have videos that go from 3 to 4 hours. But it's position locations, understanding what's going on through the avatar system. All right. Anything that you watch resonates with you. You find out what the avatar needs and sequence location to its connections. Now's the time to understand the connections to its unified system, which is all levels of its awakening. All right. So we coordinate line center and dimension interference. Platitude division location line connections. Now let's go through coloration change. All right. So we're going to go through green line center, all level positions. Every single day, I'm going to go through this. So you truly understand how to travel through 3, 6, and 9. You go through this every single day, just so you get a practical system line conditions of what's going on to position. All right, so it's all levels of you, okay, which is 9. Okay, that's you through 9. So you can put position location, there it is. There's a 9, right? Now you can go in position locations, you go into the 6, right? There it is, right? There's travel right there. So it's basically understanding 3 line center location is the sun. I'm just showing you how you can use structural locations. The more you get in division, the more you get out of separation. You have to get into all levels of what the avatar is. And it's all position locations to the sun, right? And you come into the 6 line centers. Okay, it's very powerful when you come in that position location line conditions. All right, so when you get in that position locations, 6 is position locations of the moon. Okay, so the moon surface can be up here in position. All right. And the 3 position locations can be over here. You can change position location to its conditions. So it's pretty powerful when you kind of like, you know, you can go swing there, but it's incredible force when you try out the position, right? Oh, I see that. See how it came up? It stopped for a second. So it just went, right? Really connect to the avatar's sound. Use all your senses. And all you have to do is just every single day find a way to put yourself in the avatar, keep yourself in a higher vibration. That's all you got to do. Find a way to keep yourself in a higher vibration, and you keep high rising more and more each day. Find a way to get up and make yourself feel better, right? Not everybody's happy, not everybody's sad. You just got to find the balance of being happy and sad, which is all levels of balance of you through the male and the female aspects of you through your avatar, through its activation system. But it's all done through drawings of position, location, and of travel. All right. So as you come into the Moonline Center in position locations, you can circle its position. Now that comes into a planet line center in position locations. Let's say you connect to the levels of Vega. Vega is coming into rotation center. Okay. So it sets out signals location to its positions, all levels to the moon center. Okay. Now, once it comes in position locations, the moon can change position locations to here. Right. So if it wants to do telepathy waveline center, which is interesting too, because planets can do anything, crisscross, line signal, activation, box stream, anything at position locations. They can travel through any line system. You set the electrical line center, communicates right to Vega, right? So after it communicates communication, it sets up another waveline center to another planet system, all right? So you have to understand that everything through the avatar has to understand not just the data streams, but understand the sonars of different levels of waves, alpha, delta, theta, beta, and omega. You have to truly understand how to use the calculation location of the sun, position locations of the moon, and 9 is location of you through the center, which is your 1%. So what does that stand on in position location of space-time? I'm the physical line center 1%, but the mind capacity and the position location starts at 100%. Okay, that's the capacity it starts at. Now, it's to understand how to modify all signals rotation to its position location to its calculations. Because you have to understand, you're just coming up to higher levels of consciousness. Once you reach those conscious line centers, it's extremely powerful because now you're attached to your physical line center. Not only is just the 1%, but you understand the ground line center. So it's important to understand to raise the vibrations every single day through the avatar. So the faster you go, the more you understand through memory. Okay. And that's what this school provides through Spacetime Creator. It gives you all levels how to create, not just to draw, but to travel. Okay. All right. So getting the stretch locations, I got the information line centers, Airbender. Now it's in calculations. Now we're going to go through 4 cubic line centers like we did before. All right. Going to set the high line centers. We'll go into white graph interference. Now you don't see this, right? So there's solar graph. See that? See how that clicked in? Making sure I get the information graph center right in position location calculations. So as it's channeling the high system, all right, so I'm going to set the energy coils in rotation. All right, so it's going to be 4 cubic line centers. Okay, we'll start with this position location, right? Now, each box is going to be different round line center. Okay, it's not going to be calculated modification to all levels. It's going to be in different locations to its connections. All right. See how it's in different position? All right. So that's eternity standing. You guys are at different levels. This is a different level than this is a different level because it's a different shape, right? But it's the same shape. It's just moving. So the calculation line center is all levels when it comes into cruise units 1 and 2 in high line center. Okay, you have the crew, okay, in the capacity location of the squads 1 and 2, and then you have the GFL and the rebellion. The GFL and the rebellion stay together to one cycle in position locations. Now there is separation because the crew is just trying to understand its adaptation of its avatar. Okay, once you understand the avatar, you come out of the dreamline center, you come into more visions, you come into all levels of orientation, right? Which is extremely powerful, that position. All right, so as we come into that calculations, now I'm going to change all levels to its position. So you're going to see different line connections, all right, when you come into this. All right. So it's amazing how things are put together. Okay. You have to understand the stream interference line conditions. All right. Gets a little bit more difficult from this to this to this, right? But it's 4 waving cycles. It's all connected to each other through telepathy. You just have to understand your alignments to yourself and to each other. That's the only way you can understand what's going on in that connection system. And then I set up one more with the calculations. Now these are four round line centers, position locations. All right. Same position location. Okay. So it's sure understanding what you're doing through your connections. All right. All right. So it's boxing interference, program location to its connections, high channel, and side line center. Okay. 4 different cubical line centers of space. Okay. Now I'm going to set the core line center. Code's already set up position locations, running program. Press the button. That's it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I set the signals, the rotation system. Okay. Set up. Okay. In position locations. Run program. Okay. So I'm running the program. Now once the program's in position locations, it's all in high channel. All right. Running program right now in position. All right. Stream interference locations, code signal line centers. In position location. Let's start off the crew unit. In position location. All right. So you guys are traveling position line center. Set position locations into the simulation. Platitude division location line conditions. All right. 30 minutes. Have fun. Now, I'm doing this in individualized system because you have to understand when you set up a simulation graph, it's different line conditions of space, right? It's all calculated and modified through structure. So I go through different coloration line channel. Let's go into the purple line rotation interference. Set the signals in position location calculations. All right. Change in position location to marker defense line center in position. Okay. Locked in frame. Okay. All right. So squad 1 in position location is in high channel. Right. In position. Right. Running the program. Okay. The simulation. Setting course line centers all levels of unit 2 squad level system. All right. Change the coloration line channel in position locations. Set the course line center, codes frequency, run the program location to the simulation of game center position. All right. Set and signal line center interference. Okay. You got always set the compilation line positions like a picture to a graph system location. All right. Set in sequence, half an hour, have fun. Now, in position location, the calculation line stream. In rotation line system. Now I'm going to add things to high line center because this is the GFL and the rebellion. Setting position locations, all levels, and the tetrahedron line stand. Rotation interference locations. Set the simulation graph in position locations. Combat view, tactic interference line positions. All right. Compilation line is coming into position location line conditions. Now this is a diamond core line center resistor. Setting up a new pod line center rotation interference. Star line center line conditions, atmosphere change. Commanding systems to its locations. All right. So it's amazing how you set up different streamline centers. Now allocate time switch interference. Set the course line position. Coloration line stream. Okay. There we go. Now that's a higher formation line center, higher light communications to the GFL and the rebellion. 30 minutes, have fun. All right, so it's set up through signal. Now everything that's set up, you have to truly understand how to calculate and modify. It's true to understand when you're setting up a simulation graph, you have to understand how to go through it. It's just like anything. You go from the indoor and you have an exit. That's what life's all about, in and out. It's not out and in. You've never been in that position location to understand everything from in. Right? We're confused because we all live out line centers of out. We don't live everything from in. We always live out. So now your calculations coming into the activation of the avatar, you start living inside the heart. Okay? So once you come into the heart line center, you get into structural locations of higher division line centers, all level positions with locations to its box system. All through triangulation. Okay? Through cubic line center to simulation of a game center. Okay, to an obstacle. So have fun in that positions. All right, questions or comments are asked afterwards. Okay, on TikTok, please feel free. Also, too, for all the new viewers, just really concentrate on what's going on. try not to focus on what I'm saying because it's too confusing. Try to focus on me through vibration. Vibration. Your whole body is vibrating right now. And the particle system and everything through the photons, electron, neutron is activating everything from inside you every second, every minute, every hour, every day. You guys have to understand this. It's all communication cycles of you to understand what you are through calculations. Once you get in your avatar, you get in levels of all memory. 8 center, line center, and interference location, teleportation, line position. The moon is the projection. And the sun is the light. Light comes in every day, right? So you have to understand how to use this through your parallels. This is a parallel. You stay in this position when you're traveling, not too far on this side, not too far on that side. Because if you're putting yourself in the allocated line center, you're way off positions, right? So you always have to stay in your position, okay, every single day. It's a parallel, right? Don't get caught in your paradox. Don't get caught in your quantum entanglements or system locations, right? This is all physicality line conditions of 101. Quantum physics, basic line center, not understanding logistics. So you're getting out of the square box and not seeing things from outside. You're starting to see things from inside position, location, right? So it's very powerful when you connect to that system, all right? All right, so that's all set up. You guys have 30 minutes, have fun on each level. All right, so I want to get back into all levels. I really want you to understand the travels, the Merkaba, and the conditions of the tesseract and how it sets all level positions. So think of the Merkaba as a torical field. Think of it as a ground center. Think of it as a base. Think of it as an operation. Think of it as a command center, because it all connects back to where? The heart system. That rotates all center line, center position locations. We did a very powerful video yesterday talking about everything through prime numbers, position locations. We started off with the system. So when you're calculating, you're illustrating, and you're communicating with everything. I'm communicating with this, 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 and this, and communicating with you. But I'm not just communicating with you. I'm communicating everything around all at once in all timelines, simultaneously, constantly living and staying in the center operation of the now. Not in the past, not in the future, in the now. Okay? That's a true understanding when you guys get an adaptation system, but you have to truly understand how to use the avatar. That's the connection to everything with that position locations. Get into your breathing, drink your water, right? Because if you don't drink your water, you're going to burn yourself out when you travel through space. Okay? It's the same thing when you don't put gas in a car, right? Right? Fumes. Logistics, ABCs, 1, 2s, and 3s, people. All right? ABC equals 1, 2, 3. Let's start off the basics. All right? ABC, 1, 2, 3. So understand the alphabetical line chain is all levels of codes. That's how it connects all the systems to a system. Right? Codes. Everything's codes. So A is a code, B is a code, C is a code. Equal line, center line conditions. So equal crosses high position locations. It's a graph interference. So time sequence locations, all levels of the vector line center to electrical light conditions, right? You can activate anything through your alphabetical stream, guys. All you need is a ground center and position location. See? You activate the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. That activates the codes. It's interesting to come to position location calculations. So once you activate that, you box communications of 1, 2, 3. Right? You box that. Now, boxing that position location is all levels of trifactor. Okay? It's really interesting when you see these things in calculation, guys. Trifactor, right? You're boxing something. So it doesn't matter if it's over here. It doesn't matter if it's over here. You're still going to visit. You're still going to get in the connection locations, right, to its sequence. As long as you box it, it's connected all, again, with the horse races. You can win, right, as long as you box it. So if you don't box it, it scrambles. Because you have to understand the one line signal is position locations of you, and 2 is the activation line stream, and 3 is U location to all levels of the sun position to its conditions. The sun position. Okay? So it's interesting how you go through just ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and everything through its codes. Right? So I'm just showing you how you use that. You guys have to learn how to use your alphabetical data streams into levels of quantum physics, get out of the quantum entanglements of everything that you know, reframe, readjust, refocus, realign, reconnect to all levels of the avatar, to a new division, to a new location, to new clocking, to a new activation of its intelligence, people. Once you get into that calculations, everything falls in place from time to time to time to time. And that's what we live on is time. All right. So in that calculations, let's go back and calculate rotation, change the coloration line stream. Okay. Now we come into a triangle. You can barely see it, right? But if we color it in, it changes coloration path. See? There's always light and there's always dark, right? Now in position location, the sun is here, right? There's the sun, right? Shading position locations is here through the center line center, okay? So it's all about understanding how to set things up in position locations of direction. See how it comes in direction? It's all about drawing. There's always light and there's always dark in everything, right? So this is intelligence on its own. So it has position locations. Now this can turn into a 3. As soon as that turns into a 3, it automatically connects right away to the box system locations, right, to its position. Teleportation unit, right? That teleportation unit high-rise its line center, set up point line center rotations of 4 division locations of box system to its connections, right? High streams its interference, goes back to the center line position location of calculations, all right? And changes position locations into its shade and shadows all through triangle. Goes on the other line center line interference. Now you can set position locations. Now we can bring in another XT1000 line center to a bigger platform division, right? Now that comes in position locations. That scans the center line right away, right? Scans the center line. See? You have to understand how everything travels in space, and this is how everything is positioned. This is how everything is. Nothing is in line connections of all levels, okay, of a direction signal that is just an outline. We don't live in an outline. We live in shades, and that's how you see everything in space. So it's trying to understand how to calculate and modify the signal line interference to all level positions, locations when it comes into a pyramid system. See? I'm just showing you how this is all set up through space. How you see 2 line centers, okay, an XT1000 line rotation, and there's an XJ. There's an XJ2000. An XJ2000 is a bit bigger than an XT1000, all right? So it's all position locations when you come into the sun. You change the sun communications. Now you can change the track line center in rotation in position, okay? So it's amazing how it sets up the streamline center in rotation interference. Now you can plot it to division locations, and you can center position location and calculation set up dimensional line connections to its position, right? That opens all channel line interference. Now the channel line interference comes into realm interference. Now we go in rotation center, we go back into the box system locations, sends out a data stream. There's a data stream location, right? Data stream location. Now that data stream goes right down the center line, right here. Data streams, data streams, data streams, data streams, all through rainbow activation line stream, okay? Now these are line strips. This is what you see in the skyline center when you're looking sun gazing at the sun position. It's really powerful. See that? You see them? Right? That sets up the box line center for division location line connections, right? So what the XT1000s do is they make sure that everything is in sequence locations to its ground center, right? Comes into its crop circle in position location, it goes back into the box system locations of realms, back into surface line position location line connections, opens up all channel line centers. Now it lines its position locations to direction, right? Stream interference line connections, opens up higher levels of channels to data streams, road graph interference, graphing line centers, clocking line interference, location connections, right? So it goes to the other line center. Now the changed position locations come to a new direction line system. Okay, we come in this position location to its direction. All right, changes into translucent pattern. Now the translucent pattern opens up a higher level division, comes back into coloration change, scans its high line center in rotation back in calculation, modify high signal line rotation in calculation, sets the center line positions to a higher level division. Okay, once it opens up its division, opens up a high line center to high position locations to a graphing screen, okay, to a kaleidoscope. It high positions its high streamline center in calculation. It modifies its signals to its rotation system through calculations. It high channels its light centers in our rotation system. Now, once it comes into high level position locations, we change direction location to Fibonacci. The Fibonacci sequence comes out of high line rotation, goes back into high line center, into dimensional center, opens all communications to its dimensional system. It rotates its cycles to high line conditions. All right. The channel dispositions opens up all the track. Now, when you open up all the track line center, the light interference comes into position locations into the center operation, which is due to division. So once you come in your atom rotation, that's the Trinity stand when you come into fifth line center. Once you get into the telepathy waveline center, get another XT1000 scanning position location and calculation, right? So it scans position locations. If you're changing direction, only if you change direction, because if you change your direction, you're changing graph. You're changing space, you're changing time. And the XT1000 has to understand your streams because you're graphing interference location to the astro travels. The astro travel sends all level position locations in its balance line system. All right. So it's trying to understand how to set the course line center to all position locations, to center operations, to a new channel line center, to new crown center line position, to an activation cycle, to a rotation system, to a power line center interference, to crop circle locations, to its division line conditions. It high channels its position location to its direction. All right. Ooh, So was that fun through travel? But everything that I'm doing is changing everything. So you stay in the center operation. If you want to change your time frames, you're now changing you through the avatar, which means you're changing your thought. Okay, how often do you change your thoughts? Every single day. You ever ask yourself that? Think about it. How often do you change your frames? As soon as you change your frame, you change direction locations to your teleportations, to your XT1000s and your XJs. Okay? So it's interesting when you come in calculation line conditions. It opens all channel interference, but it's a program location to its conditions. It opens all channels to its high system. But it's amazing how we set up 4 structure locations all level, setting up a program location, running a program line center, to 4 division line center rotation, to all cubic line center line conditions, to an optical course of a simulation. Ooh, Now, was that fun or what? So, how are we doing so far? All right, so let's see how we're doing here. All right, just back forcing right now. See how everybody's doing. The rebellion, the GFLs, crews, and squads 1 and 2. All right, Torch, how's it going? It's great to see new people. Just going through the grounding interference, going through solar text direction. Yep, if you're going too fast, Airbender can help you out, especially going into teleportation and communication systems, all through mind, through telepathy. Get in your groundings, guys. Drink your waters. It's the basic understanding your ABCs and 1, 2s, and 3s. Your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s through codes. So everything you do through travel is still through codes, right? It's calculated and modified all levels of you through position, location to its connections, all through trifactor. All right. So, all right. So that was fun. Timelines are set, parallel each obstacle, of course, weaver. Good. Excellent. This is more for the new viewers to really get into the avatar and what they're seeing in their own space time. This is how it works. I set the space and time, but when you travel, you're traveling through your space, trying to create it. You're trying to create the cycle. You're trying to create the telepathy wire. You're trying to create the teleportation interference to the physical line center, to its position location, to the avatar, which is mind of consciousness. Once you start creating the space, what it does is a high rise its position locations, and you get into higher channels of light. It's beautiful. You know, you get 114 chakras. It's like, whoa, I can travel really fast. So the faster you go in the mind, the more you collaborate through center, through rotation. Rotation to circulation, rotation through circulation, rotation through circulation. So that's the true understanding how everything works. All from flowing directions of yin and yang. Okay, drawing sequence locations, all of understanding how to use the information line conditions. You know, it's all positioned for you in position, location, line condition. Easy, right? So it's sure you understand how to use your intelligence of you in all ways and forms from head to toe, and everything from outside is position locations from everything inside. So where do you work? Where do you work for? Where do you work? You work within, right? You work within and you work your way out. Same thing with the box locations. Very simple. Calculate to modify all levels of you. So let's say you get a box. There's a box, right? Now that box is in sequence, but you're seeing the box, but what you don't see is what's inside already. This is already created. I've already done this. I've already traveled. I've moved on to the next box, which is already here in position locations. Once you lock it in frame, you have to understand how it's all modified in signal. Okay. Now you got a line strip, right? I change position locations. And there's another line strip. Change position locations. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm just creating what I've already created. Right. So I can do this and I can move it. I can move it anywhere. It's amazing how it travels. Right. So you have to really understand how to do this in all position, location, and calculation. It's amazing when you can move the board by itself. So it's incredible how you do thin line signals, and then you lock it in frame, position, location, and calculations. There, it's locked in. See? All right. So to communicate with that is to understand the avatar through sequence. It's all done through perception. And then you set up another box line system rotation, or you can just move it around in position, location, line conditions. Right? Until it's set its signals and position locations right there. Right? So let's lock that in frame. Now it's given the locations in its equation. It's overlapping its system, but that's okay. So even though you think it's off center, it's not. It's already created, right? So, and this is true understanding is to move yourself going forward and not going back. Anything through clocking system locations. Now let's go into circle line center. Let's lock that in frame. Okay, we lock that in frame. All right, so it looks like off, but it's not because it's not done. Until it's done through its equation. So even if it's overlapping, as long as you understand the sequence location of balance is everything position locations, right? This balance isn't balancing everything, right? It's just trying to say what's going on here, what's going on here. You know, it's just moving things around, getting back in balance locations, and you got that. So you lock that in frame. Okay. Now you can do a lot of things on a digital pad, but this is not a pad. This is intelligence. This is my friend. This is my relationship and my partnership with the digital pad. So it has intelligence. It has its sonar. It has its voice box. It has its position locations of space-time. Okay. And it has its history and ancestry all through position locations through shapes. So it's sure you understand that you can travel through it position locations, but it needs a flux capacitor.
It looks like you have.
I got Siri communicate with me. All right. So it's sure understanding what you're doing all through travel. These things take time. Right. So it's sure understanding you can lock and frame, you can do this, you can do that. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. Right. You're just setting up sequence locations of patterns. That's all you're doing. You can overlap, you can move them, lock them in frame. I mean, it's amazing when you can do that, but you're communicating with intelligence. You can even set up a starline center, right? This is a starline center. It's confusing, right? But if you notice there, this is an arrow. See the arrow? See the arrow pointing up? Where's it pointing? Right? Right up here, right? So the starline center is communicating to the high position location, which is on all levels of the north-east line center, which means it's communicating with another planet, all right? So it's sure you're saying how to box system location and calculation line conditions. And then you can get into coloration, into dimensional line center, and rotation. All right. Set the signals. You can bring in your position locations to yourself. You can bring yourself in anything through frame. Just remember, you're changing frame, you're changing dimensions of time. Right. Now, if you want to travel through it, you have to recognize what this is. You can't just travel through this because it's an arrow pointing up here, and this is communicating to this. Everything's communicating to everything all at once. So once it understands that, what it does, first off, is it scans everything before it travels. And once it travels through, it goes right through the center. Ooh-ah, right? And then it comes out through the other end. It's set up in sequence, right? So you got a dimensional line center and rotation in here, in position locations. And you got another one in here. So everything I've created is already created. in position, location, and calculation. So I go from here, all right? And basically I go here, and I go through here, and I go through here. See how I'm traveling? Going through here and here and here. And I come back over here, back to where I was, right? Now, in position locations, you have to redirect line centers. Circle line center is already set up position, location, and calculation dimension, right? Now, that is a black hole line center, okay, in position location. Remember, black hole doesn't mean its position locations of a negative cycle. You just have to understand how to set up the plasma line center two-time capacitor. It position location to its clocking system because the weather pattern is changing position locations by seconds. You don't understand the weather pattern until you understand the weather inside you, right? So you have to really balance your avatar on all levels. How to use the earth, the water, the air, and the waters of you inside, all through shapes, letters, numbers, and symbols. Now, what you get in calculations, right? You cross stream, okay? So what that does is it closes the portal, all right? Your calculation to triangulation to inform line center closes the portal locations. It wipes the screen and nobody can come in. I said that before, and I keep saying that again. That's the importance to understand when you're seeing these realms. You don't want people going into your jump scars, all right? They have to disappear, and the only way to do that is understand position, location, and calculations, right? It's powerful stuff when you know what you're doing through modification, all right? So you wipe the screen out in calculations, bring the channel line centers, information cycles, wipe it out, right? Get rid of the dimension that you created to a new highline center, right? It disappears in all line system as space-line conditions. Now it's closed to the division location of space-time direction. Ooh-ah, right? So all this disappears. Everything that you create, you recreate. It's very powerful when you do this position locations all through travel. That's why it's important to close portals, right? And then basically you channel off into another position location. You can change your different line centers. So my avatar can change position and out through equation. So I go from this color to another color to another dimensional setting, which means I come into another position locations of different shapes, different time, different direction, different locations to all pyramid system, right? So I'm coming into a new channel frame in position locations. Here's me, but I'm in the purple line center of the sun. Now I got to figure out what's going on, right? I got to scan it, but I'm in a different color now, right? So I got to scan this, 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 and this, and this all at once. Once I know what it is, I can travel through it, all through the atom line center, in position, location, and calculation, all through direction. All right? So it's a lot of fun when you travel, but I'm not traveling. The thing is that it's not just the imagination, it's the phenomenon. To get where you need to go is to go forward, and that's what I'm doing. I'm changing frame by frame by frame. So what am I doing when I'm changing frame? I'm changing my thoughts of direction, right? So let's say if you want to change your color to yellow and you say, oh, I want to go yellow to blue. What did you just do? You change your frame of space and time and clocking and division and location and environments and ocean and trees and cars and humanity all at once, all through one thought. Simultaneously, because that's all you're living, is the existence of the now. Okay? All right. So that was fun. Take equation line centers, 4-box line interference locations to the crew and squads unit 1 and 2. Take all equation line centers, interference locations to the GFLs and the rebellion. Line center, take them out of position, location, line connection. Out line center. There you go. You guys are out. That was fun. All right. Seeing what you need to see to understand the calculations, get into your alchemies. Right? That's true understanding. One thing at a time. I get fireballs now with my hands, adding waves, shades, and all elements to make a master out of we. It's amazing when you travel through your mind, open up all operations. So it's incredible force. So that's extremely advanced. Obviously, you don't understand it, but you will in time. Okay? So everything that I do, for me to communicate with anything through computer or phone or anything through digital pad, is all levels of intelligence first, because everything comes from its own source of space and time. It all has its own ancestry through its connections. You have to learn how to use it through vibration of telepathy, people. Okay? That's how it works. All right. Okay, hologram application line connections. All right. Hydrated Merkaba activated, Dragons activated, Banshee. Great. So you guys are coming in connection with what's going on. I really want you to understand when you see these things and how to really get out of situations. Life is about getting out of situations the fastest way. That's what you want to do. You want to understand how to get out of these things. The quicker the better, right? Say, well, I don't know. What am I going to do next? I don't know where I'm going to go with my life, right? Well, you do. You're just not aware. So what do? You draw through structure. And once you send the structures you through travel, then what? Then you're realizing you're creating space inside you through light. And once you get the light position locations, you start connecting to time. Okay? You get space and time in division locations, and you start living the compilation all at once, simultaneously in the now. All right? So, calculation and position. All right, so that was a lot of fun. Hope you guys had a lot of fun. I will be heading back over to TikTok. Any questions or comments, let me know. All right? You guys have a fantastic day. All right, adios.